Hi, my name's Catherine, and I'll be presenting my observation lab here today for 6 different stores that I visited. Now, the first store that I want to talk about here is called Lush. Now, Lush is a fresh handmade cosmetic store, so they sell a lot of soaps, bubble bars, conditioners, shampoos, etc. It's really neat. Now, this store was at an outdoor mall that we have here in my city. So the doors were open upon entering, which that made me feel like it's very welcoming. I think any store that has its doors open is super welcoming, especially in this location. Living in Arizona, it's so hot. It being an outdoor mall, I think it says a lot about them that they still want to encourage people to come in, even though it's so hot outside. They still manage to leave their doors open, which I find I appreciate genuinely. Now, upon entering, they do have a lot of colorful displays. All of their products are are put together in different presentations. It's not according to price, however, it's according to products. So right at the beginning of the store, on the left side when you enter, you see all of the bubble bars, all of the bath bombs that you may use for a bath. Later on, walking across, you'll see shampoos and conditioners, and the right half of the store almost always will contain cosmetics such as lipsticks, eyeshadows, lip stains for anyone who's into cosmetics. And now, for the staff, I think they were really knowledgeable. So immediately when entering, they welcome you, they greet you, they'll come up to you and they'll ask you if you have any questions. And if you do, or even if you don't, when you're looking at a product, I know a lot of people may not like this if the staff comes up to you and just starts talking, but I actually think the experience at Lush is so different because if they come up to you, they'll thoroughly explain a product that you're looking at. So I appreciate that. They're not just coming up to you and asking you if you need help, or they're not acting like sharks per se, that in the fact that they won't leave you alone. They'll actually encourage you to look at other products and thoroughly explain it and educate you on it. The brand, the logo, Lush, is seen all over the store. They have little bags where you can actually put the products in, and they have a big Lush logo on them. So I think that really helps them a lot in the sense that you're going to know that brand and you're going to know that logo even when you leave. If you see a bag from Lush, you know immediately it's Lush just by looking at the color and the writing on it. And back to the staff, they do seem more younger. It looks like they're in between the ages of 18 to 25. And besides from that, I think it's a really neat store because you can also sample the products, which I always find helpful. Now, the next store is a cosmetics store. It's called Sephora. Now, this is another store, different location that also had its doors open. And again, I find that welcoming, warm, and inviting. Now, inside, everything is very, very well organized, which I love. This is why I love coming to this store. Sometimes they move things around, and that's actually something I noticed this time. I don't shop in store a whole lot as I do online. So when I do come into the store, sometimes I notice that they'll move around their displays, and I've never really noticed this, but when you're so used to going to one corner of the store for a particular product, you tend to miss out on other brands. So I think it's really smart that they do this. They'll move around the displays constantly. And so when I was going in and looking for a particular product, they routed me over to the other side of the store, which made me walk a little bit further and made me notice other brands. So it's just that brand awareness, I guess, that they're bringing up. Now, their staff is super friendly as well. They do have their music at a reasonable level, which I understand because this store isn't really aimed just for a younger generation. Various generations come in here. They're looking for skin products, makeup products, fragrances. So I think the music is reasonable. It is cold, so I think to me, when stores are cold, you want to walk around a little bit more, so you walk throughout the store. That's just my opinion. The register is right at the center, which I find very smart, because if you do have questions, you can just walk right up there, or you can walk around. You can walk around the store to get to the register. Now, the next store is Forever 21. I don't walk into this store very frequently. Like I said, I don't really go to the mall as frequently. But this store I know is very popular. It has a very big sign outside the store. Inside, immediately you can hear that it's very loud. They have very loud music, and when you're looking across the store, I found myself getting very overwhelmed, which is something that I don't feel pretty often. And I don't think it's a good thing. They have their clothes so packed. It's overwhelming, to say the least. You're trying to find, whether you're trying to find a particular product or not, if you're just browsing for clothes, sometimes that makes it a little bit hard, because when you're trying to take out, let's say, a jacket from a rack, it might be a little bit tough. You may have to pull on it a little bit. So that's not very fun. Um, it's very bright, and at that, I didn't see any security, but I have a good understanding that stores like this tend to have secret shoppers, so that may have been their case. I just, in my opinion, think that there should have been at least some visible security throughout the store, since it's so big. There's 3 floors in this store, and it just apart from it being overwhelming, I just think they maybe should take a little bit more precaution. It's very crowded, and I just think they may need that. Of course, the staff didn't have any uniforms. It being a clothing store, I'm sure they're wearing the clothes that they purchased from the store. Um, and I think this comes back to it being overwhelming. In their sales section, they have almost half of one floor is all sale, and it's so messy. It's not really a place that you want to spend a lot of your time at. Um, and a lot of the customers there were with someone else. I think it's a store where a lot of people come in with either friends or families, not very often by themselves. And the average age, definitely noticed a lot of teenagers and younger 20 year olds. Definitely looks like that kind of generation was there. The next store is Ulta. Now, this store, it was again at a different shopping center, which this shopping center doesn't get as much clientele as I think as I think other shopping centers would. It is a little bit more isolated up north in my city, so the doors were closed. That didn't feel very welcoming, and actually, it being in an isolated area, I didn't even know if it was open. It didn't appear as if it was open. So when I walked in, it was lonely, it felt warm, and I felt ignored, because the whole time I was there, I didn't receive any warm welcome or hello from anybody. And I don't feel like I'm the exception, because I noticed other people coming in, and it was the same thing. I didn't see or hear anyone say hi to them. They kind of just walked in, and it looked like everyone was on a mission. They knew what they were coming in for, and they got out immediately. And this store isn't necessarily a small store. It's a pretty big store. So the fact that people are just coming solely on a mission, I think that the store is missing out on a lot of potential sales. I think if the staff communicated more with customers and redirected them to other places in the store, then they would have an opportunity to build more sales. Although they're not on commission, I wouldn't think so. I still think they should push for those sales, because the store may be losing a lot of money. Um, and the color scheme for the store looked as if it was just browns and nudes. It wasn't very colorful, which is really interesting and odd, it being a cosmetic store as well. They saw a lot of makeup. You would think that it would be very colorful, but it's not. I didn't feel very excited with their displays. Now, next store is going to be Louis Vuitton. This store, It doesn't have a very big store sign, but I don't think it needs it because a lot of people know their brand. A lot of people know their logo. So their pattern, their standard pattern for the LV, you see that across the display for the windows. So you know where you're walking into. The products are expensive, so not a lot of people come in. It doesn't look like, I think a lot of people get scared away from the prices, but I think it's still pretty neat to come in and look at the products, especially someone who's into fashion forward people. Um, the products are locked to wall display, so that just immediately brings out that exclusivity point. And the staff, I suppose one could feel ignored because when you walk in, they may say hello to you, they may greet you, but they tend to ignore you until you're interested. So in this particular case, I was coming in with my mother who was actually looking at purchasing a strap for her bag. And that's when they immediately get interested in you. When they know they're going to build up a sale from you, they start treating you above and beyond. And what I really like about these stores is their services. So when they know you're interested, they'll try to reel you in by making you stay. They'll offer you champagne, beverages, which is really neat. It's cold in there, which again, like I said, I think it makes you walk a little bit more, walking around the store, looking at other products. Um, I just think they could work a little bit more on making everyone feel welcome, not just those that look interested, because even those who don't look interested could be without you even knowing it. And I don't think customers stay there for a very long time on average, which again, even though their products are expensive, I still think they could convince more people than they think. And the last store I'll be speaking about is Tivana. Now, I didn't get to take many pictures on Tivana here, but it's it's probably my favorite store that I came into. It has very soft music, which makes sense because they sell Tivana, so it's perfect. I think it's a perfect complement to tea and music, soft music. So with Tivana here, they do have samples at the door. They had an open door, which again, warm, welcoming, perfect. It's great. The fact that they had tea samples at the front of the store when you walk in, I think it makes you feel more welcome than usual, if that's how I would explain it. I don't know. It just makes you feel very, very. It makes it feel very warm. Um, it makes you want to walk around the store because there's staff usually at the front of the store just offering anyone that's walking by, and I think that immediately reels in people. People love free stuff. People love samples, so they want to come in and see what this is about. Especially if the tea tastes good, they want to purchase more. So once you walk inside the door, it's the smell is overwhelming, but it's not a bad smell. It's very, very, very good. It smells like hibiscus. It smells like green tea, chamomile. It's great. At the back of the store, the very first thing I think most people see are the big tins of tea. They have many, many tins, and they're all colorful. It's got a perfect color scheme, so they're not alphabetically. Most of them are florals, or they're categorized by florals or fruity, chocolate, vanilla. But it all looks like a great color scheme. The register is at the back of the store, which I think is great because it makes you walk across the store. It actually makes you look at every product they have, which all the products are put together by color and style. So a lot of their tea products, like their pots and their cups, they will have a style and a particular color scheme, which makes it look very tasteful. And the sales at the store are actually located right next to the register, which I think is a smart move because once you're paying for your products, if you look off to the side and see something that you like and it's on sale, of course you're going to want to go for it because it's cheaper, it's there, it's at hand, so why not? And most people that come into the store that I noticed from the few minutes that I was in there are by themselves. And I think they're by themselves because they also sell tea there. So people come in to buy tea for themselves, like actual drinks, not just the loose leaf. or they'll come in and buy loose leaf tea for their friends and family. And I really like that the store wasn't crowded with merchandise. It was pretty sparse, but not sparse enough to the point where they didn't have much product. They had more than enough product. And the employee to customer ratio, I think, was great as well, because there didn't seem to be many customers in store. There were only 2 staff members, but I still think it was great. It was efficient. They definitely took care of the customers. It didn't feel like it was crowded with staff members. You didn't feel like people were just looking over your shoulder trying to sell you things. It didn't feel like that at all. So this was my favorite experience out of the stores. So thank you for listening to my observation lab presentation.